Hi everybody, welcome back to FRAG-MENTAL. I'm really excited because I'm sitting here with someone who I've wanted to sit and have a drink with, an old-fashioned, in fact. It's Mr. Cologne76. If you've not followed his Insta account yet, I'll leave the links all down below. He's probably got the best and most popular fragrance Instagram account, so go and give him a follow. Some wonderful live videos, great reviews, photographs, fantastic account. So go and check him out. Glenn, it's a pleasure to have you on FRAG-MENTAL for the first time.
Chris, first of all, I'm sitting here like, is that me you're talking about? But really, it's really a pleasure to meet you again. The background for this video is Chris and I met in Milan, and we were both super busy. Didn't have an opportunity to sit down and have an old-fashioned, and we made it a point the next time we saw each other to have an old-fashioned. So cheers, first of all.
Cheers. Yeah, here we go. This is the long-awaited old-fashioned.
We're here, Chris actually picked out the location. We're at the Clock Tower here in New York City, and it has some sentimental and some ceremonious sentiments attached to it. So thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Well, it's my pleasure. And you know, I was saying to you earlier, I really wanted to drink an old-fashioned on Madison Avenue, and I couldn't think of a better man to drink my old-fashioned with here. So
cheers.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
So in this video, we're going to be talking about a favourite boozy fragrance. This is a little unplanned. We didn't plan really to shoot a video, but we just thought we'd do it. So, you know, apologies for the low lighting. Hopefully you can hear us okay. But whilst we're drinking an old-fashioned, we thought a great subject for this video would be to talk about one of our favourite boozy fragrances each. So Glenn's favourite boozy fragrance, my favourite boozy fragrance. We'll just have a little kind of conversation about that, about what boozy fragrances mean to us. Explore the concept of boozy fragrances in a bar here in Madison Avenue while we're drinking our old-fashioned. So I'm really glad that if you're watching this video, you're just kicking back in this bar with us, and I hope you enjoy this conversation. Let's kick things off with talking about our favourite boozy fragrances. So, of all the boozy fragrances that are available on the market, first of all, is a boozy note one you enjoy in fragrances?
It is. A little background about why I feel the way I do about boozy fragrances. I got introduced to bourbons maybe 3 years ago.
Okay.
And one of the things that I like the most about bourbons is the smell.
Yeah.
The first time you try a bourbon, the first sip you have, there's something that happens in the mouth, it goes into your nose, and it only happens that first time.
Yeah.
And for me, a boozy fragrance is more than just the scent profile, it's also where that fragrance takes you.
Yeah.
So my fragrance, when we talk about it, that is the main thing about that fragrance. So should I go first? Or?
You go first. What is your favorite boozy fragrance?
My favorite boozy fragrance is from the house of Naza Veranda, and it's none other than Veranda. No stranger to the fragrance community. It is a fragrance. First of all, the presentation, the cap on Veranda, it looks very similar to the cap on a bottle of bourbon.
The cork cap,
right?
Yeah.
That cork cap, it definitely takes you there right away.
Some of the best caps in the business from Naza Veranda, I would say, actually.
Yeah, definitely. Their presentation is definitely on par in terms of their caps. Now, the caps on Naza Veranda, again, it looks like the cork on bourbon bottles. And the first time I smelled Naza Veranda, I picked up that, oh, this smells like an oak barrel. This gave me a whiskey smell. It could have been brandy. I will be honest. Veranda could very well smell like brandy. Yeah. I will be lying if I said that it smells like whiskey, but it has an alcohol vibe.
Yeah.
It transported me to the bodegas in Spain. I spent some time in South Spain, and when you go into these places, all these barrels are sitting on racks, and the floor is just the earth, and the atmosphere it's just ripe with that brandy, that cognac type of scent. Yeah. So Veranda, excellent performance. Naza Veranda does not release their notes. If you look around, you will see whiskey, you will see wood, you will see musk listed as notes. whether or not those are the actual notes,
No.
I wouldn't be so
And
sure.
it shouldn't matter, really.
Yeah.
A fragrance is the smell. It doesn't matter what's used to get to that smell.
Yes.
As long as you enjoy that smell, that's the main thing, isn't it? That's all that counts. So
And-
I like the fact they don't release notes, because
Some
adds a
mystery.
certain sense of intrigue and mystery to the
Yes.
brand, because everyone's talking about, oh, what could it be? What could the notes be here? And how have they come up with this composition?
You're absolutely right about
Yeah.
that. So what's your favorite Boozy fragrance?
So my favorite Boozy fragrance, this will come as no surprise to anybody, and it is Roger Parfum's Enigma, which Glenn was just saying he's not yet familiar with. So we're about to go to Scent Explore, and I'm hoping that the Roger Parfums stand has some Enigma, because I want to be with Glenn when he smells Enigma for the first time. And the reason I love Enigma so much is it really it takes me on a journey. It is, the boozy note in Enigma is cognac, and cognac to me as a drink is smooth, rich, deep, inviting, warming. You know, you were talking about that first sip, just gives you this lovely kind of warming feeling of well-being as you take the drink. And Enigma, you spray it, especially the parfum, and you take this deep dive into cognac. I was actually talking about this with Red Lessons and Brooklyn Fragrance Lover yesterday, and I said, if you can visualize, you're standing on a diving board over a swimming pool, but the swimming pool is full of cognac, and you're standing on the board and you're about to just dive into this deep pool, and it's going to be one of the most amazing dives into water you've ever done, because it's into this beautiful cognac. Enigma to me is like that, but it's wrapped around this lovely kind of smokiness from the tobacco, sweetened with some vanilla, spiced with some ginger. I just find it a really smooth, inviting, warming. It's an infinite depth, Enigma. It's just a beautiful, complex, smoothly blended, fascinating fragrance.
So when do you typically reach for Enigma?
Okay, so I would usually say, because I enjoy it so much, I try and save it for more special occasions. So christenings I've worn it for, if we're getting dressed up, if there's a particular formal occasion, or a wedding. I was best man at my friend's wedding recently, and I wore Enigma all day, and I had a lot of people commenting on it. It was the parfum version, and people all day was because it lasts, and people were saying that, you know, if they were about as close to me as you are now, they'd be saying, I'm just getting that Enigma. It smells amazing.
I should add that Chris smells fabulous. I actually inquired what he was wearing. It isn't Enigma. Will you tell him what you're wearing today?
So I'm wearing Parfum de Marly's Leighton, which I don't have a bottle of actually. It's a decant that I had that I'm just finishing actually wearing today. But I love Parfum de Marly, I love Leighton. Carlisle is my favourite, but Herod is also amazing. Leighton Exclusive is again fantastic. So I love the brand of Parfum de Marly, who will be at Scent Explore.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to meeting Yvan Jacqueline from
I actually wore Herod on the flight yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous fragrance, and it's kind of a segue into what I'm going to say is that for me also, Boozy in a fragrance doesn't always have to be notes of alcohol.
Yeah.
Herod, Umaguma,
Yeah.
you know, Santal Majuscule from the house of Serge Luton, I consider to be Boozy fragrances as well. 1270 from Frapan, I consider to be Boozy fragrances. What about yourself? Are there others?
What does booziness mean to you then? What does, so if those fragrances don't have specifically listed notes of booziness, what about those fragrances is it that reminds you of?
That's an excellent
alcohol?
question. It's a state of mind.
Yeah.
It's a state of mind. These fragrances, they're thick smelling, right? And they just take me to a place where it's like so tranquil. You know, Santal Majuscule, I call my happy juice.
Yeah.
I call that my happy juice.
Because it takes you to your happy place.
Yes. So it's a state of mind in addition to a scent profile.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you? Are there other fragrances on your list?
That aren't listed as boozy that make me think of boozy? Yeah, you know what, I can't think of anything specifically, but I have smell fragrances that do make me think of booze. Sometimes I wonder, is it the alcohol? Is it in the opening when we spray it or smell? And sometimes I think, is it the alcohol? But yeah, I can't remember exactly, but there are some fragrances that do remind me, and there's associations with booziness as well. So if a fragrance reminds you of the smells of somewhere where you may go and have a drink, a pub, a bar, a club, then that can trigger a boozy association as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's boozy is a very loose thing.
I agree.
And I'd also like to say as well, for anyone watching this video who's wondering what on earth we're talking about, boozy fragrances, why would anyone want to smell of booze? Why would you want to go somewhere and people think you've been on the bit of grandpa's old cough medicine? What it means to me is a boozy fragrance smells and gives you the sensation through scent in the same way that the taste sensation when you drink it and when you taste it. So it's not necessarily how booze smells off someone, it's the scent version of how booze tastes when you drink it. So we're talking about the warming sensation of the cognac, of the whiskey going down, of drinking an old fashioned.
Very, very
That's
well
what a boozy
said.
fragrance means to me.
Very, very well said. It's most alcohols will induce a warming sensation. The higher the proof, the warmer the alcohol. And that was very well said. Very well said.
Well, should we wrap things up? Because I think we've had a lovely conversation there about our favourite boozy fragrances. So Enigma for me, and Veranda.
Naza, while we're drinking old fashions, this happens to be my favorite alcoholic beverage. So very, very appropriate.
It's definitely one of mine as well. I love an old fashioned. There's a friend of mine, Rick, if you're watching, hey Rick. A lot of times if we go out drinking together towards the end of the night, we'll maybe just look at each other in a very manly way and we'll say, is it old fashioned time?
Right.
And we'll just sit there, we'll have an old fashioned and we'll just chat. We'll just chat about everything and anything. And at the point of the night where you're relaxed enough and you order an old fashioned, it's the sign of a good night. You're having a good night with your friends when you're sitting there chatting about life, drinking an old fashioned.
And
as we are doing now.
One last thing, it's not a drink for boys. This is a drink for men.
For men.
A woman can drink it, but my point is, it's a sophisticated cocktail. Cheers again, brother.
Cheers. Thank you for having this conversation with me, Glenn.
My pleasure.
Amazing to get you on FRAG-MENTAL.
A real honor and a real treat.
We did meet in Milan for the first time. We did chat in Milan, albeit briefly, because we were very busy in Milan. It was a busy event. I feel because Scent Explore is just one afternoon and one evening, we've got a little bit more relaxed time around the event, which has given us the opportunity to meet up here, have this drink before we go to the event. And you know what? I'm almost glad that we didn't do this in Milan, because doing this now when we've got more time, I think we've done this properly. I think we've had a good conversation that we wouldn't have had. Everything happens for a reason.
I agree.
Cheers to you, my friend.
Cheers.
Good luck with all your future fragrance endeavours and everything in life. It's a pleasure to meet you. Hopefully I'll see you again soon.
Yes, sir.
After this trip to New York, hopefully. Wherever in the world we meet next, Glenn.
Probably Exxon's next year.
All right. So I will hold you to an old-fashioned in Milan next year.
Let's do it.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. A little bit of a different video. Hope you found it useful. Remember, keep tuning into FM and keep smelling good.